Greetings everyone, one and all. I'm Menos, welcome back to my Madhouse. And yes, it's another Grand Royal recording, but this time for NA. And it's a good occasion as any. Now, what am I doing right here, right now? Well, here's why. No, not this one, I already have everyone. This one. The start dash GSSR. Might as well start on that now, especially since I somehow have a hot streak coming from JP. Don't give too much of that. That's in separate video. Now I have everyone that's involved here. I actually compiled a list on who I want. And this time explain everything. However, I changed Jackpot to Ace Pulse instead because apparently Jackpot is a seriously bad word in case of GSSR because all the times I've aired it until there I had not gotten anyone from the Jackpot section, so I figured I'd end up renaming that instead. Working out compromises after all. Well, I'll explain myself quickly from there. All these are end up who I want the most and who I love the most. It's a combination of the two. It's playing Ace Pulse first. End up rolling for Okita right at the year 1 days. However, all the times I did roll for her, I ended up being snubbed. She was one of those cases where she ended up being super elusive alongside the archers. Also, she ended up being closer to my heart thanks to Fate type red line. And that's why she ends up at Ace Pull. Also, all the archers are at Ace Pull because that's who because all of them would immediately be a great boon to my account. Especially on Archtodia's end, because she was also someone who I rolled for too much. And she doesn't have a ramp until a mile later. So that's why I placed her there. But if I ever end up with any other archers here, that's also a win on my book. And that's despite Ishtar being the least close to my heart there. Gil's a douche nozzle, but he's far closer to my heart than imagined. Kintoki's also an ace because just for being a huge nuker. Depending on how his setup is, he can basically one-shot just about anything in case of boss battles. And Dantes is up there also because mainly he'll end up being a huge boon in my account. I have everything else to get him extremely revved up. Yeah, Noble 1 of him is questionable after all, but still. I've seen people work in MP1 Dantes too much here. Now for to go on my book level. Servants are a bit close to my heart, but not as close as the aces. Skaha's on top just because of the bunny outfit. Da Vinci may not be too good, but she'll end up being a welcome asset here. Cleopatra's pretty mixed bag in terms of reception, but dealing with her will be fun regardless, so that's why she's gone my book here. Amakusa's also of the mixed bag crowd, but his buff put on his noble is too good. I've also seen him work extremely well, especially in any of the chances that I ever end up deciding to use him after all through supports. The welcome dupes are everyone I have already, but especially because I love them. And yes, that's a huge pull. That and especially both Jalter and Merlin love me a lot. A lot. Both of those are at Noble too already. However, the Sloan person in the I dupe level is Shiki, just because I love her. Because of that, I can't help but to feel bad for her because she ended up being done quite dirty. And the one buff she did get wasn't much. Now on a no thank you tier. The most nuisance of the bunch ended up being Tamamo Lancer. That and she's the one dupe I don't want. No thank you. I won't burn her, but I'll still turn her ass into a stew if she ever shows up. Skandar on the other hand is Shiki's case but worlds worse. Yeah, he's brand new this time around, but that's the only bright side. Unfortunately, he ended up being outclassed all around. Especially within his own class. That hurts my heart even worse for him. So he's the second he ain't being the other totally screwed part of the bunch. So he ends up being the other option where I'm totally screwed, except that he's a newbie, should he ever end up in my Caldea. And that explains everything. That explains why everyone is where they are. Not many of the aces end up showing up after all here. So let's go back here. The 12 pit courts at the ready. Not many good luck guiding me everywhere. So let's see who I end up with. Oh yeah, multiples are possible. First to show up is Hector. I hope I don't have to make any stew. I seriously hope I don't have to make any stew whatsoever at all. Oh yeah, and that was a bit loud even for me. I hope that wasn't a nuisance, but oh well. Thankfully that's lowered even for you guys. Hector, gun. I want mine to be an archer, however. But anyone in ace tier is perfectly fine. Oh, kill before he went completely insane. Let's see if there's anyone else insane shot. Matching number should be obtained. That one's a new one. Wait, no, that's not a new one. Oh, my memory. Who goes there? Ryder. Ah! Ah! The one that got done dirty the most, I end up with him. Still, he is a newbie, that's the only bright side. Welcome him to the team regardless. Still have him do my best. I'll still have him do his best. Then again, there are chances of multiples. See, what's a pure speak after all. Normally, all of those contain a rainbow animation. But I guess the rainbow feathers aren't feeling me after all. They haven't been for a while. But still. Welcome to the team regardless. One of the other but still that was the second worst case scenario. But thankfully this isn't entirely bad for him being a newbie. And this is as per my own tradition. Yeah, even with the buffs, time did not treat him too well at all, however. But I'll still welcome him regardless. Both all that aside, that's the end. Hope everyone enjoyed, and hopefully no one was too heartbroken here. Once again, he wasn't that bad per se, it's just that time ended up doing him extremely too dirty. Even with his buffs. But me and Nightcoin have some business to do. We're gonna need a bunch of embers after all. So until next time, be seeing ya.